Sandy Wexler. Okay, so let's talk about Sandy Wexler right now. So, obviously, in case you haven't heard, this is Adam Sandler's newest Netflix movie. And it is fresh off the presses right after his hotly signed contract of 4 more pictures with Netflix themselves. Now, whether you like them or not, the Netflix movies for Adam Sandler, they've been very successful, even if they are pretty much shit nonetheless. From the do-over to International Assassin, which wasn't him, but it was still Happy Madison, and obviously, the Ridiculous Six. They still making bank. They're still getting a lot of views. People are clicking on them, whatever, and they're making each party pretty much a lot of money nonetheless. So you can't really complain too much. It's a smart business decision. Now, Adam Sandler never really has had a great movie per se, at least in my personal opinion. And I know what you're thinking, like, what the fuck are you talking about? What about Happy Gilmore? Be like, yeah, I love Happy Gilmore. But if you really think about it, his movies has never really been great. Honestly, some of the shit that he does nowadays is pretty much the same shit that he pretty much did back then. Except back then, he was motivated and he actually had some interesting stuff to tell. And he was actually quite funny. Now he's not really necessarily motivated. He's motivated by the thought of money and not necessarily earning money by the process of being motivated. Does that make any sense? Just to begin with, honestly. Now, going into this thing, I didn't really expect too much. I didn't know really what to expect. Honestly, it's like a parent-teacher conference. You kind of hope for the best, but you know it's going to be bad just to begin with. And that's pretty much what we got here. This is not Adam Sandler's return. Some people say Adam Sandler is back. He's not. Not at all, just to begin with. Now, overall, I think one of the biggest problems with this movie, just simply put, is that it's overly long. When I saw the runtime, I had to nearly just go outside of the window and just start yelling for the hills and just be like, my, oh my, oh my, why the fuck is this 2 hours and 11 minutes? Because this movie just seemed like it dragged on and on and on. And as I said just a couple of seconds ago, I didn't really know what to expect for this movie, but after I actually saw it, what did I get with this movie? Was pretty much 2 hours and 11 minutes of Adam Sandler just doing, okay, yeah. That's a slight exaggeration, but for the most part, that's pretty much what you got. His voice is kind of like a combination between Gilbert Gottfried, some person from Fargo, some bad Canadian accent, and Whitey from fucking 8 Crazy Nights. That's pretty much the logistics of it. Honestly, his voice is so annoying, it makes me wish that Miranda Sings had an audiobook. That fucking bad. This movie is so fucking bad, it actually makes Amy Schumer fucking special look tolerable, and that's saying something, okay? So overall, like I said, Adam Sandler is just pretty much just doing this voice, as I pretty much just said, for about 2 hours and 11 minutes. There's not really that much to go off of. And yes, the movie does kind of have a little bit of a nice message of sorts. And Sandy Wexler, the character, does kind of seem a little bit likable in some areas. But I feel like the movie wastes so much time it's like an hour and 50 minutes in. I shit you not, by the time this shit actually has a point in some weird case, that you actually start to kind of care a little bit, but by the time it actually does happen, you really don't give a fuck, and that's just a simple case. Some of the best parts about this entire movie tends to be, the cameo fuckfest of all his friends that need that welfare check, on top of anybody else that just randomly managed to, walk past the camera and he started to film them, and you can play the game of, how the fuck did this guy get here, how did she get there, how did they get there, who the fuck is that guy? There's Rob Schneider. You can play that pretty much game, and that's kind of fun to see. The 90s nostalgia I thought was kind of good. I'm a sucker for that. And that was actually pretty good, from references to clothes to music. I thought that was great. Jennifer, Hudson singing was actually pretty good. Jane Seymour still looking like a badass cougar. That wasn't too bad itself, but nonetheless, that's pretty much it. This is 2 hours, 11 minutes. That's a pretty much set, and you pretty much just get Adam Sandler just doing a very one-note character. Which is pretty much nothing past the voice and possibly the clothes. That's about it. Other than that, there's nothing more to this character that you can pretty much say. Yes, you have cameos by his friends. Yes, they have a little bit of a likable character. Yes, they're doing a romance, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing more to say about it. Now, regardless if you like Adam Sandler or not, you're probably going to be pissed off. Then guess what? Get pissed off. Because this movie sucked. It was just a waste of time. And it made me very, very sleepy. And I think I fell asleep maybe about 3 times. And every time I woke up, I just constantly kept on saying, that's basically it. There's nothing more. There's nothing less to this movie. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. But about 5 minutes into this film, I shit you fucking not. It's not a joke. It's not a pun. I didn't write this down to sound fucking clever. But this movie legitimately jumped at least to the top 5 of the worst films of the year. So quickly. About 5 minutes fucking in. I shit you not. If you cannot make it past 5 minutes of this movie, shut it off, because it's just a tolerable slog of just desert heat all the way through. And that's unfortunate. I thought Jennifer Hudson was actually one of the better parts. And I do find it funny that Adam Sandler has been bringing down Oscar winners since 2003 with Jack Nicholson. Though I will say this, I actually kind of like anger management for what it is, but from Al Pacino to, Christopher Walken, The list can go on and on and on. I'll probably be missing a couple other people, but there's been a lot of Oscar winners he's kind of worked with, and they've been in questionable roles nonetheless. But overall, Sandy Wexler is pretty much just a throwback to old school Hollywood in some sort of way, and some of it is actually kind of enjoyable. But the problem is, I just didn't laugh. I mean, like, legitimately. It was kind of nice to see, like I said, his friends collect their checks or whatever it may be, but there was a point in time where Sandler was actually motivated in the process of making money, but now he's just motivated by the thought of getting handed money. And that's pretty much it. That's all you can pretty much say about this film. Is it better than The Do-Over? No. I thought The Do-Over was actually slightly better than this because it had hot Paula Patton, and it was kind of like a role reverse thing, nonetheless, even though it was still shitty. And I thought this was at least a little bit more tolerable in some cases, maybe than Ridiculous Six. But I still think out of the Happy Madison production movies, I think that International Assassin is by far probably the better one. But even then, that's not really saying much. But like I said, overall, Adam Sandler is capable of doing shit. Honestly, his only really good movie is probably Punch Drunk Love. And I mean, like, an actual really good movie is probably Punch Drunk Love. That's about it. But that's just my thought, and that's my opinion. Now you can start to get pissed off, or you can start to just, leave, regardless. But I just don't really know what to really say about Adam Sandler. I think it was quite sad to see what the fuck is he doing, because there was a point in time where this guy was actually kind of cool. Now he's just kind of doing this, and it just seemed like he's just going in circles and shit. So either way, it is what it is. You can go see it, you cannot go see it, but nonetheless, there's still at least, 6 more of these things to come. So obviously somebody's watching them. Some people are downloading them. It doesn't matter, but nonetheless, somebody sees them. Comment, subscribe, and like. I'm Chris Smith, and I'm signing out.